Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and boys and girls. This is Kieran, and this is my show. Welcome to the Abyss. So, this is episode 3 now, and it is about Ireland, the Stone of Destiny, the Ark of the Covenant, and the Lost Tribes of Israel. So, if you have not watched episode 1, Irish Myth and the True Account of History, or episode 2, Genetics and Genealogies of the Irish, I advise you to watch them too before you watch this one, please, and thank you very kindly. Because if you don't do that, you're not going to have an iota of what I'm talking about. Because there's a grand scheme of things I'm trying to lay out here, and I am ideally explaining it decent enough for people to pick up what I'm throwing down. But anyway, I will carry on with the a sort of recap of what we discussed in the last couple of episodes. All right. So, myth, migrations, genealogies, and genetics. So, in the previous couple of episodes, I discussed myth. So, Irish myth says X, Y, and Z, and I have essentially tried to prove it using modern Irish genetics, as we can see here. So, I use my own genetics as a sample because technically I descend from these Milesian families, just as many other people in Ireland and around the world do, as you will also see as I try to progress through the slides. So, as you can see, this whole lineage I am trying to describe is particularly the generations of Noah. So, these generations obviously go Adam himself down to Noah, Noah down to Abraham. But as we said in the previous slide, you have the Abrahamic religions here, which are Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. But what I want to really get down in your heads is this line here: Isaac, Jacob. It goes into Judah, David, Jesus Christ, but also Dan, particularly the tribe of Dan. But anyway, I shall carry on. So myself and Linda have been working together over the last number of years, um, trying to decipher essentially this mystery. So what we've done is we've gone through the myths, we've gone through the genealogies. I obviously went ahead and got my genetics done. So as I said previously, this isn't just me. This is a lot of people that can trace themselves back via the same means I've done. I just said I could use myself as a sample. So to carry on with what we were discussing here, we have the migrations from episode 1. So you have Cesar from the west, she's of Noah's Law, the Fomorians from the underworld, possibly Titans, Partholon from Greece, of Noah's Law, Nemeth from Scythia, modern day western steppes of Noah's Law, Fairbog, descend from Nemeth, returned from Greece of Noah's Law, Tuatha Danann, descend from Nemeth from north of the world of Noah's Law, and the Milesians from Scythia, they went to Ireland via Spain. They are also of Noah's Law. So again, generations of Noah. All right. So as it says, there's a common theme here. I am trying to really get people to pick up what I'm throwing down as I am going through these slides. So I just want to bring your attention to this quote again. So R.A. Stewart McAllister, he was the main man for when it came to Irish mythology. He done all the translations, etc., etc. Now, as I say, there is not a single element of genuine historical detail in the strict sense of the word in the word anywhere in this whole compilation. So he is referring to the Irish myths, the Lord Valor in particular. So my intention was to disprove that claim using modern genetics, historical genealogies, and relics. Now, the relic is going to be key, and symbology, relics and symbology are going to be the next two key parts of the puzzle here. So I will need you to follow me very quickly here onto the next slide. So the father side, there's not enough data really to show you what I'm trying to talk about. But on the mother side, which is the H side, to keep on, which I referenced in the last episode about the H DNA and the R1b DNA. So as you can see, Europe, lots of people in Europe that are related to myself, be it distantly. Obviously, you got a lot of people in the Americas, down in Australia, South Africa, etc. So obviously, Ireland during the occupation and the famine would have had a lot of people go over yonder and set up a new life for themselves. And obviously, a lot of people went down under. But this sample is only really a sample size of who took the DNA test with the family tree DNA. I'm sure if everybody did a family tree DNA test, there'd probably be millions more relations. But anyway, I just wanted to show you kind of a quick map, like an overview of the map of what I've used as a sample. So possibly everyone in this list should probably watch my last couple of videos, and they could most likely connect themselves to the same genealogies that I'm working on. As I said, it's not only myself, there's a lot of people that can claim this descent. And as I said, it's quite interesting once you really get into it, you know. Well, I shall carry on to the next slide. So you got North Africa here, you got the East here, you've obviously got Southern Europe. As I said, look at the dispersal of the people. You cast your mind back to the slide on migrations. You had these lads that came from the east into the west, which ended up in Ireland. They left Ireland and back into the Europe. So it was the least of the fair ball went down to Greece after leaving, after Pardon and Nemet. They were the descendants, and then they eventually went back. But then again, you can see this whole migration of people. So again, these are people who share a common ancestor with me. So somewhere down the line, there is a connection through the maternal line. So previously in the last episode, I showed Queen Vic was a relation. Well, what I actually meant to say was not necessarily a relation, but we share a common ancestor. So again, this is the genealogy which I am referring to. So this, as you can see, is the north of Europe. And in the previous slides, what did we say? The two they Danan went into the north of the world. And they came back and found their way back into Ireland to take in the north of Ireland and Scotland. As you can see there, lots of common ancestors, or relations rather. But again, as I said, you could claim that Irish people during the famine went everywhere, or during the British Industrial War effort, they went everywhere. But again, it would be interesting to see if we can find any more information on all these people. How far do we really go back? On to the next slide. So, as I previously said to you about the H haplogroup and the importance of this haplogroup as it goes into European royalty, etc. And I also want to make a point here. So you have Algerian relations here. And what I'm specifically wanting to point out here is Sephardic, Ashkenazi, and Mizrahi Jew. So, or Israelites or Jewish, whatever. I try not to be insulting here, but technically I could be an Israelite myself. So, as you can see, you got Eastern connection here, Ashkenazi. This is interesting. As it says, I just wanted to show this to people, just to kind of show. So, if I come from an old Gaelic family, it's interesting. There's a connection here like this. So, as it says, it's not just me, it's a lot of people. So, anyway, I shall carry on to the next slide. So, in the previous episode, I was talking about genealogies. So, you have Adam that goes down to Noah. So Noah restarts after the flood, and his sons Japheth, Shem, and Ham take different parts of the world, be it Europe, Asia, and Africa. But as you go down from these genealogies, you can come down to Abraham, and as you seen down to Abraham, from Abraham to Judah and his brothers of the tribe of Dan, etc. But as you can see here, you have Judah here, and you have Zara and Phares. So I'll see if we can highlight these two lads for you. These lads. Look at these names. These names are going to be important as we carry on. Now, as I've said to you previously, I am not great at the old technology, and this is the first time I've really did anything like this. So please forgive me for quality pronunciations, etc., etc. This will ideally get better as we rock along on this path. So I just kind of highlighting a couple of names. Hopefully you guys can see these names. If not, I will be putting all the resources up into the social media channels once I have them set up. So I'm just trying to give you a couple of names to put your eye over. So again, genealogies. Now I am only really going by the Irish genealogies because I can work off of them, but there is of course plenty of other people you can follow that will give you the same details. But I do want to bring your attention to these lads, these symbols. There's more people there again. As you can see, there's a couple of names there to keep your eye out for in this particular line. And I want you to pay attention. So you got St. David's harp. Harp is a symbol of Ireland, isn't it? Oh, Jesus. Then we have lions. You have the lions of Judah. Again, I just want you to keep an eye on all this stuff. And particularly this. This will be spoken about. This will be spoken about now in the next slide. But as I said to you, I just want to make sure people can really see what I'm talking about. So Irish kings, Scottish kings. So remember, Scottish. Oops. So Scott, you have the Scottish are Gaels essentially as well. You have Scottish Gaelic as well. You have Gaelic, which would be the Irish language essentially. But as I said, you can see these lads here. There's a couple of people there. Zara, Phares, Judah, Jacob, Israel, Abraham. This is another interesting one which I will talk about again, but at a different time or video. Excuse me. There's just a lot to talk about here. But anyway, I shall carry on. So the next slide. So this is the coronation chair of the British royal family. And please note what it says. The throne of David, which is the throne of the kingdom of the Lord over Israel. So this is a genealogy from the 1800s. You can actually find out who wrote it sitting there. This is done in like the 17 or the 1800s by a reverend who I found this, and I said, this is all very interesting. So again, this is the genealogies of these Milesians, these Irish people and English people, and possibly all those red arrows you see in the previous slides could possibly be all these fellas and their descendants. But that is a topic for a different episode. So to carry on, because I've waffled on too much, you have the stones of destiny. So as previously mentioned, you've the stone of Scone, which is this. So this, if anyone watched King Charles there get coronated, this is one of the relics. This is the throne. This is the throne of the coronation chair of the British royal family. So I will be giving you a detailed history of what has gone on with this, or what my suspicions are here. As you can see, note the lions. Lions of who? The stone of Scone, the stone of destiny. So what this stone here is another stone of destiny. So we have two stones of destiny. So this is in Tara in Ireland, and this stone sits in Edinburgh. That is a stone that sits in Edinburgh and only comes out for the coronation, really. Okay, but again, another stone of destiny. So there's two stories here. So the stone of Scone and Leah Fall. So the stone of Scone, Scottish Gaelic, and Leah Fall, or Scots stone Scone, also known as the Stone of Destiny, is an oblong block of red sandstone that was used in the coronation of Scottish monarchs up until the 13th century. Monarchs sat on the stone of Scone itself until a wooden platform was added to the coronation chair in the 17th century. It was originally kept at the now ruined Scone Abbey in Scone near Perth in 1296. The forces of King Edward I of England captured it during England's invasion of Scotland. The stone was subsequently used in the coronation of English monarchs and the British monarchs for over 500 years. Now, there's a couple of stories surrounding the stone of Scone. I will dive into them. So, the stone of Scone is said to be made in the size of the Ark of the Covenant. It is also said to be the platform for the Ark of the Covenant, which again, this is the story we're kind of going to get into. This is it. As I've said previously, there's whole moving parts to all this. But for this one stone of destiny, you have one. He's one. And then you have the fall or the Leah fall. The stone of fall is the stone with the inauguration mound on the head of Tara in County Meath, Ireland, which served as the coronation stone for the King of Tara, and hence High King of Ireland. It is also known as the Stone of Destiny or the Speaking Stone. According to legend, all of the kings of Ireland were crowned on the stone up until Murtagh mac Éirc, 500 AD. So some Scottish chroniclers, such as John of Fordun and Hector Boucher, from the 13th century treat the Leah Fall the same as the Stone of Scone in Scotland. According to this account, the Leah Fall left Tara in AD 500 when the High King of Ireland, Murtagh mac Éirc, loaned it to his great uncle Fergus, later known as Fergus the Great, for the latter's coronation in Scotland. Fergus's sub-kingdom, Dal Riada, so this is the Gaelic kingdom, this is where the Scots Gaelic has come from, had by this time expanded to include the northeast part of Ulster and the parts of western Scotland. Now, they do both have similar stories, and this is what I would like to discuss. So again, think Ark of the Covenant. And again, you think of genealogies. So this royal stone that's in England came from Scotland. That came from Scotland. Oh, came from Ireland to Scotland. So you have a whole cycle of this stone going back thousands of years. All right. So just remember, two stones. Is there two stories? The Ark of the Covenant. Again, think about it. This is kind of where we're going. It's quite the mystery this is, so we should carry on. So the Ark of the Covenant. So the Ark of the Covenant, if you've not heard of it, is the Ark of the Covenant is believed to have been the most sacred religious relic of the Israelites. It is described as a wooden chest coated in pure gold and topped off an elaborate golden lid known as the mercy seat. According to the book of Exodus and the first book of Kings in the Hebrew Bible, the Ark contains stone tablets, the law by which God delivered the Ten Commandments to Moses at Mount Sinai, according to the Epistle to the Hebrews. In the New Testament, the book of Exodus and the book of Numbers, it has also contained Aaron's rod and the pot of manna. So again, what did I say previously about the Israelites? Now you have these stone tablets, stones of destiny, maybe. You have Aaron's rod and the pot of manna. You're probably thinking, like, where's he going with this? Now, the location of the Ark today is unknown or is lost or hidden by the Israelites. Numerous theories as to its location, one particular location being Ireland. And this is what we're going to talk about. So think about this. You got two stones of destiny. You got one in England and you got one in Ireland. You have genealogies that go back to Noah and Abraham, or Adam. You have all this stories going on. It's like they're all claimed to be myth. But the Ark of the Covenant story is interesting here. So in the next slide, we are going to discuss Tara and the Ark of the Covenant. So we mentioned Tara and the Stone of Destiny previously, didn't I? So during 1899 and 1902, members of the British Israel Association of London came to County Meath to dig up the hill of Tara. Now remember, this is the High King seat of Ireland prior to invasions. So prior to the Vikings, the Normans, and the Brits. So these British Israelites believed they would find buried there the Ark of the Covenant, the chest is said to contain the Ten Commandments inscribed in stone tablets. Their strange and unlawful activity provoked a protest from cultural figures such as William Butler Yeats, Douglas Hyde, and Maud Gonne, all famous Irish people. If you've never heard of them before, W.B. Yeats in particular is a very famous poet. Douglas Hyde, Maud Gonne, these are very known well people. So he lit a bonfire and sang a nation once again on Tara. The press reported the protest, making this their fourth media campaign to save a national monument. This book tells the story of the British Israelite excavations on Tara in its archaeological, historical, cultural, and political context. Who were the excavators? Was their mission entirely eccentric or part of the deeper story of a class economy and emergent nationalism? How successful was the backlash? Historian and archaeologist Murray Crowe pieced together a narrative of Tara and the Ark in lively and meticulous detail, showing how the clash between the British Israelites and the cultural nationalists represented the colonialism versus emergent nationalism, while the British Israelites dreamt of a sacred treasure. The Irish patriots battled to save a national monument, making this more than just a strange interlude in history. Now, again, what have I been talking about these last couple of videos? Genealogies, migrations, genetics. Now you have these relics are now popping up. And what did I said previously? The genealogies of Noah. This is a Bible context. This is Bible stories here. So again, I'm going to carry on here now. So another, another story is the tribe of Dan. So the tribe of Dan essentially went missing in the Bible narrative, and in Irish mythology, you heard me mention the two-a-day Danann. Have been mentioned before. So the two-a-day Danann have been linked with the tribe of Dan. Obviously, name, There is some interesting moving around again genealogies. So this all links. So you had the tribe of Dan was one of the 12 tribes of Israel. So Dan was one, Judah was the other, and then there's another 10 tribes with that. So according to the Torah, they were allocated a coastal portion of land. These were meant to be seafarers when the people of Israel entered the promised land. Later, moving northwards, numerous events happened, leading eventually to, as part of the kingdom of Israel, the territory of Dan was conquered by the Assyrians and exiled. Exiled, where did they go? The manner of their exile led to the further history being lost. Or was the history lost? This is what we are going to explore. So there is whole other videos recorded on this theory with the separation of the tribes and the eventual exile of the Israelites leading to the lost tribes of Israel story. Now, again, that's another video. I'm already 25 minutes in here. I have another 10 slides to go. So we'll keep on pressing forward. So again, as I said, the Tyrrhene land were the descendants of Nemeth, leader of the previous wave of inhabitants in Ireland. In non-Ephraimite accounts, they are descended from Danu and Mother Goddess. They came from the far seas to the north of Ireland, Fagies, Gordius, Viewers, and Phineas. They were taught that their skills in sciences include architecture, arts, and magic. So there's an interesting story here. Again, as I said, these migrations are people who have been all over Europe now at this stage. They've obviously come, as I said, there's a lot of stuff going on here. But why I particularly mention the two a day Dan here and the tribe of Dan, and specifically the gifts, is going to be brought up here. So the two a day Dan arrive with 4 gifts: Dagda's Cauldron, the Spirit of Liu, the Leah Fall, the Stone of Fall, which is the stone they claim to be Tara, which is quite interesting, and the Clive Sulis, the Sword of Light. So in the Ark of the Covenant, I probably didn't elaborate on this too much in the last slide, but is the Israelite Ark and the 2 a day Dan gifts: the pot of manna, Dagda's Cauldron, Aaron's rod, the Spirit of Liu, stone tablets, the Leah Fall. Now, it is said the Ark was a weapon, and Chloe Sulis, the Sword of Light. So that is an interesting relation there myself. Is this why the British Israelites came to Ireland, specifically Tara, looking for something? You know what I mean? So there is further stories I will elaborate on for you guys. So you have Nell and Scota. So again, if you look back on the migration data, I mentioned Nell a lot, and Scota is another interesting character. Scota is originally said to have given her name to Ireland. A place called Scotia's Glen in Kerry. Was actually there myself a couple of years ago. So it is said Ireland's original name is actually Scotia, and Scotland's name is actually Alba. For anyone that didn't know that, there you go. So the narrative in the Laura Gabala Earth is a legendary account of the origin of the Gaels, the descendants of the Scythian prince, the Nazaeans, Phineas Farsad. Now, again, there's a whole mythological cycle to these people, and I am not doing them any sort of justice in a short form video like this that I'm trying to get through. But Gwydglas is the son of Nell, who's the son of Phineas, and Scota, daughter of the Pharaoh of Egypt. So, coming out of Egypt, you can again see the story relation to the tribes of Israel and Dan and the Nazaeans, and again, it's all generations of Noah. So you have the Greedles or Gaels undergo a series of trials and tribulations resembling those of the Israelites in the Old Testament. They flourished in Egypt at the time of Moses and leave during the Exodus. They wandered the world for 40 years before they eventually settled on the Iberian Peninsula. There, Guida's descendants Brogans found a city called Brigantia and built a tower from the top of which the sun glimpses Ireland. Brigantia likely refers to the Corona in Galicia, then known as Brigantium. Whilst Brogan's tower is likely based on the Tower of Hercules, which is built on Corona by the Romans. So there's another resource, and it's called from the Historia Brittonum, So this is the Brits now. So the earliest surviving version of the story is found in the 9th century History of Bethlehem. It describes an unnamed Scythian nobleman driven from his kingdom and living with a great household in Egypt at the time of the crossing of the Red Sea. He did not pursue the fleeing Israelites, and the Egyptians, fearful of his power now that so many of their troops had been killed, banished him. He travelled with his household across North Africa, then sailed to Iberia. They settled and lived there for around 2,000 years, multiplying into great nations before travelling to then Dalriada. So again, Dalriada is that region in Ulster and Scotland. So again, do you see the connections? There's a constant connection that I'm trying to relate to. So there's another story. You have Tia, Tamar, and Teffy. So according to the Irish poems, Teffy was a beautiful woman with a royal prosperous smile and the most beautiful that transfers the plain. Supposedly she was one of King Zedekiah of Judah's daughters. Zedekiah was the last king of Judah of the house of David. So this is that genealogy I was referencing earlier on. So before the Babylonian invasion of Nebuchadnezzar in 597 BC, Zedekiah's sons perished, but somehow his two daughters, Tia and Tamar Teffy, escaped with the prophet Jeremiah. They travelled from Egypt to Spain, Gibraltar, Cornwall, and then ended up in Ireland. So according to the legend, Tia Teffy brought sacred Hebrew relics to the British Isles, including the Ark of the Covenant, King David's harp. She was responsible for bringing the Stone of Destiny to Britain, which English and Scottish kings used for their coronations. The stone is called Jacob's Pillow. It is supposedly the actual stone on which Jacob slept. King Edward I took it from Scotland to London. So there you go. There's obviously an interesting connection here that is what we are trying to explore. So as you can see, the harp, the crown. Now, in the story of the Ark of the Covenant, they say about two rings and a pole that is used to carry the artifact. Now, again, it's different stories, but again, stories do have truth in some way, shape, or form. So as you can see, the royal and public stone of destiny brought to Ireland's beauty Princess Tia again. That's the story here. So there you go. This is all common knowledge. All right. So to carry on. So if you cast your mind back to the genealogies I was referring to, I say to note the Zara and Perez line. So as you can see here, you go, most people don't understand the implications of Jacob's actions in passing out the blessings and birthright before he does. Jacob gives Joseph and therefore his boys Ephraim and Manasseh all the good stuff, virtually the whole birthright. Jacob only keeps back the right to be king of the family and make its governing laws. This means that Joseph and his family will be rich nobility of Israel. Someone from Judah, a Jew, will be king. When Joseph dies, the tribe of Ephraim will be the preeminent tribe of the nation, but will accede to Judah in being king. As soon as Joseph dies in Egypt, someone from the tribe will Judah will take the rulership under Pharaoh. This person will be from the Zara family of Judah. He was first born 200 years after the secession of Judah from the nation of Israel. Assyria conquered Samaria and deported 10 tribes, millions of them to northern Mesopotamia. Most of them migrated to northwest Europe and the British Isles over the next 17 centuries. So again, you're seeing this migration. There's a constant migration back and forth here. But to never fear, we will have a Judahite king in Jerusalem named Zedekiah. Oops, here comes Nebuchadnezzar. He conquers Judah, kills Zedekiah's sons, and carries Zedekiah and his friend of the people to Babylon. This line is cool. So, what about David's promise now? So, David's promise is mentioned in that genealogical record, so no problem. The Sarah line is ruling across all the northern Mediterranean. By this time, they've got colonies in Spain, Ireland, and Britain. But the throne of David is not in those places, it is in Jerusalem, and the male bloodline has been cut, but not the female, because God allowed daughters to inherit when no male heirs were available. So Jeremiah takes the king's two daughters and leaves for Ireland. He drops one daughter in Spain and then marries the Phares Judah daughter of Zedekiah to the Sarah Judah High King of Ireland. This final move sets things straight, the way God outlined them back Zara is back on top. The throne is preserved. The resting place for Israel is now being prepared for the arrival of the 10 tribes as they begin to migrate across Europe. So again, there's a whole story being played out here that is ideally I'm piecing it together for you, the viewer. Now, on to the next slide, we can see so the meeting place of Judah. So God had to get the others afar off, so ready for the house of Israel. So he sends two houses of Zara Judah, the Trojans to England, and the Nazarenes to Ireland. Brutus, the grandson of the Trojan king Aeneas. Now, you should know some of these names. Now, this again is another mad story, but it's the story of Troy, etc. So rounded up hundreds of defeated rebels after the siege of Troy and made his way to Spain, where some of his countrymen had previously migrated. Many of these compatriots sailed with Brutus as he went to England. He landed there in 1103 BC, moved inland somewhat until coming to a likely spot for settlement. He gave this town the name of New Troy. This is later become the capital of the reconstituted tribe of Ephraim, to find the rest of place of the Davidic throne, London. God was also preparing this land for the influx of Israel, which started some 500 years later. So some centuries later, God had replaced those Spanish Zaphirite Trojans with their cousins, the fat Zaphirite Nazarenes. After living for some time in Spain, some of the princes struck out to establish new kingdoms in Ireland. To do this, they had to conquer the cousins of the tribe of Dan, the two de Danaan. So again, you're seeing a constant connection, constant connection, constant connection. So after that family squabble, they left only one of the original three brothers who came to Ireland, Yuki and Eraman, assumed the throne of Ard-Ri. This all happened around 600 BC. Yuki was in place to receive the bloodline of the Davidic line of Pharez Judah. Now, as I said previously to you guys, in the genealogies, Herriman. So within the 3 years of the final fall of Jerusalem, God succeeded the Davidic throne arose in Ireland with the scribe Simon Brew, a curious collection of ancient relics which include a harp, a large chest, and a 300-pound stone. More beside, one other party department of the fort was rounded by the door and blinded and imprisoned. King Judah said he wasn't enough to keep God promise that they would supply the rulers the tribes of Israel. If that were the case, and God would have quit right there and had it off, he would have had some Zara Judah kings ready for the last tribes of rivers starting around 500 BC. But he made the promise to David, so David's bloodline had to be in the mix too. So that's why he had to draft Jeremiah to plant that bloodline in the future of Israel. God's plan for Israel has been sidetracked. With the marriage of Zara and Judah to Yuki to David, Pharez, Judah to Teffy, things were set again according to God's plan, promise, and prophecy. So Judah will have the scepter, David will have his man on the throne, Israel will assume its new land, and then the fulfillment of a multitude of prophecies. So, by numerous people there, as you can see. So, again, you could probably say to yourselves, nah, this is bonkers. But again, you got genetics, you got genealogies, you've got relics. So, what more could you say to disagree with this? For any scholars, it's there in black and white. So again, if you want to talk about symbolism, I mentioned symbols which are important. So the red hand symbol of the Ulster crest or the O'Neill crest I showed just the other day, and they said keep an eye out for this. So the red hand of Ulster. And it came to pass in the time of her travail that behold the twins were in her womb. And it came to pass when she travailed that one put out his hand, and the midwife took and bound upon his hand a scarlet thread, a red thread. It's almost like the Kabbalah thread on the wrist, if anyone is aware of what I'm talking about there. So saying this came out first. And it came to pass as he drew back his hand that behold his brother came out, and she said, how hast thou broken forth? This breach be upon thee. Therefore his name was called Pharez, and afterward came out his brother that had the scarlet thread upon his hand, and his name was called Zara. So again, this is birthrights. What they're describing there is a stolen birthright. Now, if you look at the story of the Red Hand of Ulster, now this is a symbol of Catholics and Protestants up the north. But this is quite interesting here. So you have the Red Hand of Ulster is the official seal of the O'Neill family. It is believed to originate from a mythical tale where two chieftains or brothers were racing across a stretch of water in the bid to be the first to reach the land and claim it as his own. Realizing his fan would touch the land first, one chieftain cut off his hand and threw it onto the stone, thereby claiming the land before his adversary reached it. The red hand is one of the only emblems in Northern Ireland used by both communities in Northern Ireland, although it is most associated with the present community. Catholics see it as representing the 9 counties of Ulster, while Protestants see it as representing the 6 counties in Northern Ireland, and the red hand of Ulster appears on many moors and flags. So, as it says, stone of birth right here, stone of birth right here. You have 2 stones of Israel, or 2 stones of destiny. This as it says, there's relics here, there's mythology here, there's cross comparisons here. There's lots and lots more to go along with this, but I'm really gonna cut this back now and carry on. So, as he said, the symbology. Now, a lot of people are probably not gonna like this, but if you look at the Star of David, so that's the Northern Irish flag. You have the crown for the supposed royal bloodline, as previously stated, being in Ireland. That was described there. So the Star of David, the red hand of Ulster, the O'Neill line, crown, St. Patrick's cross in the background there. And you have the Star of David, the Israel flag. Now, the official emblem of the Republic of Ireland is the harp. Why is the harp the symbol of Ireland? Yet again, this is, if you look at previous episodes, the Eber line, Aramon's line, David. This is the bloodline that they're talking about. This is the symbology. Said the crown, red hand of Ulster, the 2 lions. The fish could represent Pisces, or the age of Pisces. Arguably, Christ himself was known for the fish as well, wasn't he? But then, if you look down here, you have the Lion of Judah. You have 3 lions. Then you have the harp. Again, it's all symbols that are all of importance. But fortunately, folks, this is going to be a wrap for tonight. So hopefully you have enjoyed this particular video. So in conclusion, having observed the data compiled over the last 3 episodes of Welcome to the Abyss, you can clearly see genetic evidence of the genealogies with modern genetics, as well as the literal relics from myth in front of your very eyes. Plenty of resources are available online to confirm this data from better scholars than I. Sources will be posted for your own inquiries. So I presented them for educational purposes only. So all credit to all those people. I will be crediting you in the social media channels. So as I previously stated, I only use my DNA as a sample, as I'm aware of the myth. Anyone else can do the same, as seen in earlier slides. So again, if you look at the Milesian genealogies of Ireland, pick your surname, you'll probably find yourself. And as I said to you, if you look at the family tree DNA slide, you could probably argue, well, if that's me, every single one of them is part of this whole story as well. Again, this is amazing. This is a very interesting story, and hopefully I'm doing it justice. But I just want to say thank you very kindly again for taking the time to watch my show. And I don't intend on going anywhere or doing it in the city. So I will keep on sharing out episodes as time allows. As I said, I do be quite busy, so I'm trying to jam out a couple of videos for your perusal. And yeah, so again, thanks very much. I am Kieran, and this was Welcome to the Abyss. I bid you farewell. Thank you very much again.